Anyone remember when these vlogs were about, like, teaser posters and trailers and stuff, and less about when will the deadly pandemic subside so we can actually go to the cinema and see this film? Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again to yet another Bond 25 vlog, preempting some potentially quite bad No Time to Die news. If you've been online much recently in the last couple of days, you have probably seen an article covering the idea that No Time to Die may have its release pushed back further from November 2020 to sometime in 2021. A lot of these articles have been your usual tabloid stuff, you know, quoting a source close to the production and that kind of stuff. It's basically all just speculation. However, I think there is a relatively informed aspect to some of the stuff that these articles are talking about, because if you haven't heard, there is another Universal autumn release that is having its release pushed back. Halloween Kills is moving from October 2020 to October 2021. Why is this significant? Well, Universal obviously are distributing No Time to Die throughout much of the world, and so if it's quite telling that they see something like Halloween Kills, which is, you know, in the budget range of what, 10, 15, 20 million dollars, a much smaller scale film. If they're looking at that and thinking, we're not going to make our money back in October, or we're not going to make a sizable enough profit to make this worthwhile if we keep it in October of this year, we need to move it next year where we have a better chance of making a lot more money. If they're doing that for a relatively small picture like Halloween Kills, then for the $250 million budgeted No Time to Die, I can only imagine the discussions that are taking place. And obviously Universal is not the only, you know, entity with a say in this, MGM also, but then I think if it comes to MGM, you know, Bond has been a big part of keeping MGM afloat this last, you know, decade or so, and I can't imagine they're going to want to put the film out in an environment where they're not going to make the kind of money that they did with Skyfall and Spectre. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of eyes on Bond to be a, you know, $1 billion release, and if a film studio can't make an educated guess at when it might make that money, you know, this year they're gonna push it back. It's really annoying. I don't know if I'm just relatively more optimistic or what, but because I was kind of in the frame of mind, I was more leaning towards the film is probably gonna come out in November. It's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna have that premiere razzmatazz and all that kind of stuff, but it will be in cinemas, and I was kind of preempting that cinemas would be open in some form. I think it'll still take a while for movies to get back to making the kind of money that they did before, but I still kind of thought it would be in theaters, and I'd have to put on my mask and go and sit through it that way. However, I know, like, the situation in America is obviously not terribly good with the COVID numbers there, and America is a big market. So yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of thing as it was like a few months ago when the other delay happened. It's just the world is not in a situation similar to what it was pre-COVID yet, and as a result of that, they don't feel like the film will be able to make the money that they want it to make, so they're just gonna keep pushing it back until we do get to a state where cinemas can open safely and people can safely go and sit in a large quantity and watch a film. Obviously, none of this is confirmed yet. There's been no official word, and I think maybe I kind of just anticipated that they were going to be waiting to see how, like, Christopher Nolan's Tenet and Wonder Woman did box office wise and kind of judge from that. The way things keep getting pushed back and pushed back, I don't know if they're even gonna come out this year. Obviously, this news is incredibly disappointing, but I still, as a fan, I mean, God, I just want the film to be a success, and that's, and if they need to keep on delaying it until then fine. At this point, I'm kind of resigned to just sitting and waiting for it, so that's kind of fine for me. There is something that I want to touch on, because I keep seeing people posting about this, and I've seen, like, these articles have been posted on Facebook and stuff, and people keep commenting with, like, oh, just release it on Netflix, release it on video on demand and all that kind of stuff, and I can't emphasize enough that if No Time to Die is having to make its debut on video on demand, that is not going to be a cause for celebration in the slightest. I've said it time and time again, and it's still the same thing. If No Time to Die comes out on premium on demand, it's going to lose an awful lot of money. Even if they charge like 20 quid for a rental or something, it's just, it is not going to make a profit on its $250 million price tag. And we can look at other releases that have gone like straight to, you know, on-demand services and whatever. Like Trolls is the one that is always cited as like, oh, it was a great success and all this. It made over $100 million in its first few weeks of release, and that's pretty good for something like Trolls World Tour, but that had a much smaller budget than Bond, and very different. I mean, that came out at a time when people were quite literally trapped in their homes because of regulations and whatnot, so families were kind of desperate for some kind of entertainment. What's this? Oh, okay, great, yeah, we'll pay the rental fee and get this on. But now that things are kind of opening up throughout the world, some cinemas are open in places and that kind of stuff, it's just not gonna be a space that this film can open in and comfortably make a profit. And if it gets to a point where the people involved in distributing the film feel that the only way that they can actually do this and potentially make money is to put it on premium on demand, that is a very sad state to be in for the future of cinema. I mean, it's, like I've said, I think No Time to Die will end up being, you know, a 2022 release. It'll end up being the 60th anniversary Bond movie if the situation hasn't improved until then, because they want to make a lot of money from it. And if the film doesn't do well, then that kind of, you know, the success of the Bond franchise is something that I'm quite invested in, if you hadn't noticed, and I want this film to do well so that there will be more. And until we can be in a situation where the film can come out and that can happen, okay, fine, delay it. Then the question obviously goes to, well, okay, when are they gonna delay it to? And just kind of looking at the movie release slate for 2021, obviously it's gonna be quite a packed year, because a bunch of films from the, you know, latter 3 quarters of 2020 are all being kind of pushed then, so it's already getting a bit packed. Halloween Kills going from Halloween 2020 to 2021 I don't think is terribly indicative of what the overall plan might be for all releases. Obviously Halloween needs to come out near Halloween, so I think that's clear there. When it comes to Bond though, I mean, summer's looking pretty packed, so I don't know, maybe, and I think there's also to consider that in June, the next Jurassic World film is scheduled to come out. So that's, I mean, obviously that's a big Universal property. They're not going to want to negate the success of that by releasing another big blockbuster so close to it. So, and then there's Fast and Furious in April as well. There's Godzilla vs. Kong in May. It's looking like a real, it's, yeah, gonna be a packed year, assuming that the situation has improved even by then. I guess there's the chance that they could go for a March release again, and then it's just kind of pushed back from March 2020 to 2021, but even then, I mean, is just pushing it back 4 months going to be enough for the world to sort of get to a state where they feel comfortable releasing it again? I don't know. Like I say, this is all still speculation at this point, and nothing official has been announced, but how the last few days have gone, I'm kind of, I'm bracing myself for another delay, so I would recommend other people do that too, yeah, I guess we'll see. I imagine that they'll be making some kind of definite decision on this in perhaps August, depending on what the state of the world, you know, what the state of the world is by then. I've already resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to be making vlogs about No Time to Die until the day that I die. So you know, at this point we're just in this kind of Groundhog Day situation where every new day brings a new delay. But you know what, as Bond fans we are lucky that we have a huge treasure trove of past material to obsess about, to rewatch, to watch, to read, to play, all that kind of stuff is all good. And I don't know about you, I feel like the whole lockdown situation is, and I've said this before on social media channels and the like, but making content for this channel has been a real sanity anchor for me throughout all of this, and I feel like I've kind of dived into Bond, the world of Bond, these last couple of years more than I ever have done before, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you folks for watching this video and, you know, commenting, and we can sort of moan about all these delays and stuff in the comment section, but there's so much to talk about with the Bond series already that I'm obviously sad and disappointed that I'm not getting the new thing any sooner, but you know, plenty more videos to make, folks, plenty more videos to make. So that's it. I wanted to make a video just kind of giving you my 2 cents on what the current state of it is, particularly on the video on demand point, because I just kind of wanted to make a very pointed point about that being no... Again, I understand that people want to see this film, I understand that people are getting impatient, but yeah, if this thing is premiering on video on demand, only video on demand, then I'm pretty sure that every cinema on the planet would have to have closed for us to get to that stage. So yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and commiserations in the comment section below, as always, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. There are links to my other various social media pages below, so please do check out those, and until next time, Bond fans, so long for now.